Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trenchcoat, a football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarm.
I'm your other host, Ryan Sharp.
And I am the producer, Josh Sackless.
Hi, Josh.
Hey Josh.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Jacob.
Good to have you back. We missed you.
I missed you guys too.
You were back for last podcast, but I'm still recovering from...
We didn't get to hang out last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't. No. I had a screening for Assassination Nation.
Wowzers.
Was it any good?
You know what, Ryan? I do PR for that movie. And as a PR person, I would tell you should watch it and make that decision for yourself.
All right.
Good to hear,
I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Good to hear.
Yes.
So let's talk about football because this is a football podcast.
Wait, you're telling me you don't want to talk about Assassination Nation more?
I mean...
Okay,
Please don't talk about
I guess we can get it.
Josh wants us to talk about football, so we'll do that.
Understandable. So let's just go with a recap of some Week 2 games.
Yep.
I think let's start with Thursday night last week. Ravens-Bengals.
Yeah, definitely a surprising game for me. Not so much in terms of who won. The Bengals at home, that's something you probably a toss-up in terms of that. But they were very dominant through the first half of that game.
Sure.
Enough so that, they just took it easy in the second half. And Ravens kind of came back into it, but never really competitive.
That Ravens offense is going to struggle when they're down. I won't see a whole lot of come-from-behind victories for the Ravens this year.
Another shocking thing is, Ravens defense just gave up 3 touchdowns to A.J. Green in the first half of that game. That's not what we expected from what we thought was a top 10 defense. Do you think that's still the case with them, or just an off night?
I still have faith in this Ravens defense. Lead cornerback Jimmy Smith was out for that game. I think he was out for the first 4 games of the year, and that's huge for them. They have it's a strong defensive unit, but I think they're led by just a couple of real standout. Like C.J. Mosley, the linebacker position, kind of changes everything they do. He is that dynamic of force. He is that stabilizing player in the middle of their defense. Like I talked about Jimmy Smith. But also along that defensive line, Terrell Suggs is still competent. They still have enough talent to kind of, be all right, be okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I think this Ravens is still above average, but maybe not at the levels we thought.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just genuinely surprised to see, that happen to this defense that's been stout for so many years. I feel like it's not very common to see someone drop 34 against the Ravens.
Especially Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
4 touchdowns, 256 yards. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a pretty good night for Andy Dalton.
Did not see that coming from the Red Raider. Whatchamacallit? I don't know. He's just
Red Raider Horned Frog.
Yeah, what is his nickname? So Red. I know it's not
Big Red. No, that's Andy Reid.
Yeah,
something.
Exactly. He has some red nickname. It's not Red Raider because that's Texas Tech.
Yeah.
He's like I don't know, Red something, but
the Red Rifle.
Red Rifle
or 007, but I'm going to go with the Red Rifle.
Yeah, Red Rifle's pretty solid.
That's good. It fits him well.
It really does. But yeah, impressive game from him.
Yeah,
looked pretty competent.
We saw Lamar Jackson in that game a little bit.
That we did.
Wait, Jacob, did you say confident or competent?
Or both.
For
Andy Dalton.
I think I said confident, but I don't really.
I was going to say, I think it says a lot that you're saying it's a pretty good game for him because he looked competent.
I mean, I'm surprised. I am surprised to see Andy Dalton look confident.
That's the best I've seen Andy Dalton look in a while.
Exactly. Yeah.
For me, it seems like he goes out there and just, does whatever the hell he can and tries not to mess up. This seemed like a very, calm, cool, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it well, Andy Dalton. And I don't think we've seen that for a couple of years now. So it was kind of exciting to see that. I still think the Bengals are going to be okay as a whole, probably pretty bad if we're being honest. But at least last week, we saw a side of Andy Dalton we hadn't seen in a while. So that was kind of cool to watch.
So you're not buying into the Bengals hype. You're not a believer.
I'm not a believer.
Why not?
They beat the Colts. I don't think that's that great of a win. And I think this Bengals win over the Ravens might be kind of a fluke if we're being honest. I think, like we said, it was shocking to see the Ravens like that, and I think a lot of that just had to do with it's early in the season, and the Ravens haven't really figured out their cohesiveness on defense yet. I think that's something that just takes time to to get back into form. And at the same time, I think the Bengals just used A.J. Green to take advantage of that. You still have a top 5 receiver, so if you can get him behind some guys, that are struggling to adapt early on in the season, then I think that's exactly what that is. It's just an okay team against a team that struggled early on.
I agree. I really agree. I think there's a lot of people buying in on this Bengals team, jumping on the bandwagon now, and I definitely want to plant myself squarely outside of that. Like
Yeah,
I
for sure.
want no part of this Bengals team.
No.
I think they are really promoting a lot of fake hope in these fans. That's my point. Is that
Exactly.
I think this is a mirage. I think this 2-0 start is not indicative of a larger general uprising for the Bengals. I do not think this team is that good. I don't think they have that much talent. I predicted them 4-12. I think to begin the year.
Yeah, I said 3-13.
I'm not going to stay too far away from that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the 3 wins isn't looking too good, but definitely not, in contention to do anything
Exactly.
special.
I don't think they have a winning record. I don't.
More than 3, less than 8.
Exactly. Somewhere in that
That's
range.
what it's looking like at this point.
I think that division is just going to be super bad. I think they're going to be able to win a lot of these home games.
Yeah, so they could be in it in theory, just based off how bad the AFC North is, but probably not.
So that's the thing. I think they'll be in contention probably for their division, but nowhere near the wild card.
No,
just because I don't think they're good.
Yeah, and even then, I'm still sticking with the Steelers.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
nothing I've seen from them has inspired a whole lot of confidence.
That is true, but I just think they're the best team. I think we'll hit on them later.
We will.
Excuse me.
Where to next, Ryan?
A close game. Panthers Falcons.
Yeah, Panthers.
Sorry, guys.
Panthers Falcons was super exciting.
Yeah, I know we didn't get to watch too much of it. We turned it on. Panthers are trying for that game-winning drive, and I believe it was DJ Moore in the end zone who kind of just let that ball go through his hands.
Yeah, that was
chance to tie it on the ensuing extra point, and just did not make the catch. It was a good game though, a very close game, kind of like I thought it was going to be. I think these two teams are pretty much even in terms of playing abilities. Two very good quarterbacks. I'd probably give Atlanta the edge in terms of receivers. McCaffrey is definitely having a great season so far for the Panthers, so I think at this point they might be winning that battle in the run game. Some injuries to Devontae Freeman definitely messed that up for Atlanta moving forward. Of course, you have Tevin Coleman as a reliable RB2, but you always want your one guy out there. Anyway, I think this matchup is we're gonna see this again when they play each other later in the season.
Oh yeah.
The other thing is, I didn't think these teams would be in contention for the division, but after seeing the Saints struggle in back-to-back weeks, I think that opens it up again for the Panthers and the Falcons. So right now, advantage Falcons because they have that lead in the division head-to-head right now.
Yeah, I agree with everything. I think these are two very equal teams. I think the Falcons barely got the edge in this one, and I think that's simply due to the fact that they were at home.
Yeah, exactly. I could see the Panthers winning their matchup 31-24 in Charlotte.
Exactly. So I'm not terribly worried about this Panthers team. I think that receiving core is a worry. DJ Moore had a real long touchdown on last Sunday, but besides that, you're not seeing a whole lot from that rookie wide receiver, and then Funchess isn't really what we thought he was going to be, and then who else is on that team? But Christian McCaffrey looks like he's basically going to be their whole offense. He's super fun. I think he's everything they thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I think that's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
I really thought he was a Heisman contender the year before his final college season. I'm thinking oh yeah, he's a lock for Heisman his senior year. Obviously that didn't happen, but he's definitely shown us that he's still a very capable NFL running back. I think he's one of the best at catching passes out of the backfield. That's what he was great at Stanford, and it's what he's great at on the Panthers.
102 receiving yards on Sunday. He is a legit option. He's a legit threat out of the backfield, and him and Newton are just super fun.
They work well together.
Exactly. That's a great pairing, and I think we're going to see that pay dividends for the rest of the year.
That's an important thing to have, I think, with your running back. Obviously, you want it with the receivers, but you think, I'm just dumping the ball after this guy. How does our relationship really affect our play on the field? But I think I definitely think the cohesion between a quarterback and a running back is super important, though we don't think about it a whole bunch.
Oh, no. I think it's crucial for any team's development. You look at any dynasty and you really have an idea of what you need to get done between the quarterback and running. I think that's just an ideal pairing, Newton and McCaffrey. But moving on, what game excites you next, Sharp?
I don't know. Just a game I want to touch on that doesn't really excite me. That's Colts and Redskins. I thought we would see more out of Alex Smith.
Interesting.
I'm kind of disappointed in Alex Smith so far. I thought he was going to be a lot better, but obviously not. Maybe the Chiefs propped him up a little more than we thought.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense. I think that kind of buys into everything we know about Alex Smith. Alex Smith is talented and knows how to lead an offense, but he is more schematic than anything else. Like, he needs a great offensive scheme behind him, or he's not going to be able to flourish.
Yeah,
and I think we're kind of seeing that in Washington this year.
Yeah, I mean, either this game does not matter to me. I don't think it really matters to the Colts or the Redskins either. I think they're both kind of in like a transition phase right now. They say they want to compete. I just don't know if that's really possible.
Yeah, nothing from this Redskins team is super exciting. But the Colts, on the other hand, I don't know. I think the Colts with a fully healthy Andrew Luck are exciting. I mean, that's a top 10 quarterback in the league. You can't count out any team with a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, no. Just a lot of question marks, I think.
Oh, of course. That defense is putrid. The fact that they were able to hold the Redskins to 9 points is
that's
incredible.
That's pretty good on their part.
Definitely. I think that kind of signifies a lot. To me, that's more good news for the Colts defense rather than bad news for Washington's offense. But that's still a really discouraging sign if you're Alex Smith.
For sure. So just talked about the Colts. Let's hit on another AFC South matchup. This one between the Texans and the Titans.
Texans and the Titans.
Close game.
Yeah, this was a real frustrating game for a Texans stan like me. For someone who really buys into what the Texans can do and really thinks they're going to achieve the peak of their potential. This is games like this you can't really lose.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to that final drive. Obviously, there's so much that could have happened before that they just missed opportunities. But then, just that last play of the game, Deshaun Watson ran out the clock instead of throwing it downfield.
Yeah.
Forced completion. Just either way, it might stop the clock, might gain the yards you need to tie the game, but that just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's just a young quarterback mistake. I mean, Watson has played less than a season. Like, started less than a season.
He has not started 10 games in the NFL, so.
To me, that's more indicative of just horrible coaching. I think this Texans staff might be like bottom 5 worst in the league, which is super discouraging for a team that might have the most talent.
Yeah, I know we both picked Bill O'Brien for Coach of the Year, but so far that's not looking.
I mean, I'm not going to desert away from that, but but Jesus Christ, he is bad. He is.
Yeah, I think if the Texans turn it around, he'll get all that glory back.
Exactly. If Deshaun Watson goes on a tear and the Texans finish year 10-6, like Bill O'Brien still
gets credit for that.
Exactly.
I don't think he should, but
that's just the way this award works.
Yeah, Jason Garrett a couple of years ago. You have guys like Adam Gase who had the Dolphins at 1-4, and then they go 9-2 to finish the season. Jack Del Rio with the Raiders that year, another guy that just turns a team around, gets ignored because,
It's all about narrative.
Yeah.
The entire award is built around narrative. But this Texans team, I think this might be indicative of a larger problem that could lead to a bunch of these incredibly frustrating wins. Like a lot of these single digit where they were right there, they were in. You
mean losses?
Yes. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. A lot of these really frustrating losses where they just are constantly just itching at the door, but can't get there.
Yeah. Another non-easy game coming up, I would say, against the Giants. I think we'll touch on that later in the podcast. So let's move on to another shocking game that featured the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning against a team they were not supposed to beat.
You had a little piece about Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. Tell us what your thoughts were.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick obviously had a great week. Included in my NFL notes. Just a fun fact before I get into talking about how great Ryan Fitzpatrick has been is that he went to Harvard.
Really?
I'm not sure if you knew that. I'm not sure if you knew that either, Josh. But
I don't think a lot of people know.
Yeah,
that.
I don't think a lot of people know that Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard.
It's never brought up on the broadcast. That's the thing. They never decide to mention that he went to Harvard.
I don't know if we've ever talked about on this podcast either.
That too. I don't think that's even happened. Yeah, it's a pretty low key fact.
Yeah.
For sure. So good that you brought that up. Thank you for educating the listeners.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 weeks, wins against the Saints and the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick might be all right.
Yeah, I think he's pretty solid. First quarterback
in post-game press conference outfit.
First quarterback in NFL history to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in his team's first 2 games.
Yeah, I know you had the Bucs at 2 wins. I had them at 3, I believe. That's not looking too great right now.
Yeah, that's aging poorly.
And I'm happy for Ryan Fitzpatrick, if we're being honest. I think if he has one more good week, this week. Jameis just rides the pine the rest of the year.
Really, you think there's a chance that Fitzpatrick loses this? You think he hasn't done enough?
I don't know. If it's that he has not done enough. I just feel like some people might want to see more. If you ask me, Fitzpatrick's the starter now, but Jameis Winston is still 10 years younger and the first pick in the draft. So how much faith does Tampa really have in him? I think the players want Fitzpatrick. Deshaun Jackson has voiced that. So I think that just comes down to how much stock do you have, or how high are you on Jameis Winston? What do you think he can do?
And I can't imagine anyone in that Tampa Bay coaching staff is super high on Jameis. Like, what have they seen in the last 4 years that would make them think, oh man, Jameis Winston, quarterback of the future?
Yeah. If they're beating two playoff teams, two 12-win teams, the first 2 games of the season, I think you might have found your solution in Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I would think so. I don't know. I'm not really sure what this solution leads them to. Is it a 8-8 record and a nice season? Like, I don't know. I don't think they're winning this division. Do you?
I don't, but I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, you said the Bucks would win 3 games. That's
Yeah,
what they win 2. So like clearly we have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2-0, and everyone else is 1-1. So
yeah, exactly. So they are.
I mean, it's only week 2, but the Bucks have definitely looked the best out of all those NFC South teams so far.
Incredibly, that is a statement I did not think we would be saying in week 2.
No, I would have laughed at you if you said that 2 weeks ago, and I hope you would have laughed at me 2 weeks ago. So, man.
Pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, Fitzpatrick's is phenomenal. Like you said, Josh, an incredible post game outfit that was borrowed from Deshaun Jackson.
He borrowed that from Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, he did. So he borrowed it from Deshaun Jackson. I just saw this clip today. Deshaun Jackson comes into the press conference shirtless.
At the door, and
Fitzpatrick is like, oh, my bad, bro. Let me get you this jacket and chains back in a sec.
Yeah.
And then the best part, a reporter asks him, so is any of that yours? And he says, the chest hair is mine. And I thought, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is just a great answer.
That's my hero right there. That's my life goal.
So, Ryan Fitzpatrick in the past couple weeks has earned has rehashed the nickname FitzMagic. And another NFL player in the state of Florida, not a fan because he says that's his nickname. That's Miami Dolphins rookie safety Minkah Fitzpatrick filed a trademark application for FitzMagic.
First off, that's what we in the business call a transition right there. That was a transition, Sharp.
Yeah,
I applaud you for that. But go on, tell us about FitzMagic and why Minkah Fitzpatrick is mad.
That was his nickname in high school, and he wants it back. And I guess he wants to make some money with it. So he just shut down any Ryan Fitzpatrick FitzMagic that might have been.
Those darn millennials and their
that's what I'm saying.
And their copywriting and
they're just taken away from this hard-working adult man.
You would think a Harvard-educated football player would know that he needs to trademark that nickname.
See, I doubt it that he didn't know. I bet he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be FitzMagic. I'm gonna ride with it.
I don't know.
And then Minkah comes in the league, and all he cares about is money. I don't know. Not a great sign for the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Defend your rookie, Sharp.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, if we're being honest. I just think it's petty. It's like, haha, I did this before you could. I'm not that worried about it. I don't think Minkah's that worried about it. I think he thinks it's just as funny as I do. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick probably does too. I don't think anyone involved in this, FitzMagic trademark thing actually gives a shit. I think they're just having fun.
I guess, but it would be incredibly funny if they were like really mad at each other.
Yeah.
Like they I don't know, shot vicious tweets at each other and Minkah, I don't know, ran up on his house. I don't know what he would have to do, but it would be incredible.
Or did the Dolphins play?
No, they don't play the Bucks.
They did last year, and believe it or not, Ryan Fitzpatrick tore them apart.
That's why you got Minkah to shut down.
Yeah, we needed a Fitzpatrick of our own to beat the other one. But yeah, that's just
Sharp we.
Oh yeah, I'm very anti-we in terms of talking about teams, and I just said it. So thanks for calling me out, Josh.
No problem. I also almost said it.
Keeping you honest.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like that.
That's what we're here at the Side and Line until we keep each other honest.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just a fun story for you if you're really interested in trademarks and things like that. But the next game on our list is definitely much more exciting than any trademark applications. And that would be the Chiefs and the Steelers. Very good game last week.
Oh, awesome game. So much fun. both of us, just to let the listeners know on some inside baseball right here. Me and Ryan both had money on the Chiefs, and we were vindicated pretty early.
Yep.
I mean, hopped off to a 21-point lead to start the game. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yep. I will say I got a little worried at one point when the Steelers tied it.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes just did not slow down.
No, there's no stopping him. There's nothing we have seen in this 2 weeks that has made me rethink my idea that he's going to be awesome. There's no defense they've thrown out. There's no scheme they have prophesized that nothing can stop him. He is throwing these balls perfectly. These receivers and tight ends are just too good. And I'm not really sure how this Chiefs offense gets stopped.
Yeah. I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a guy that other teams eventually figure out, but I think he's always a step ahead of them. They'll know what to expect, but Mahomes will just do it better than they anticipated. And I think you're right. I don't know if there's a lot of stopping him.
You see, I just don't know what he does super poorly that you can exploit at this point. He's very mobile. He has a bazooka for an arm. He is accurate. I'm not really sure what.
I haven't seen a bad read out of him yet either.
Exactly. He doesn't. He makes good He makes good decisions. I don't know. He can make every throw in the book. I'm not really sure how you stop him at this point, if we're being honest.
I mean, I think eventually one team's going to get lucky and beat the Chiefs, but
I mean,
you're saying they're not going to go 16-0?
Yeah, I don't think they'll go 16-0, but I think
I don't know
if they exploit Mahomes, it's not going to be because he was bad. It's going to be because they were better.
I think the Chiefs obviously aren't going to go 16-0, but they're going to. I think the only way they lose is when they get out. I mean, obviously when they get outscored, but when it's a shootout and Mahomes just puts up everything he has, and then the other team just has a little bit more, like a 45-42 game, something ridiculous.
I think we'll see a lot of those from the Chiefs this year. This last one, 42-37. It didn't look like the Steelers were going to be in it, but that defense, just let them right back in. Ben Roethlisberger, playing on that injured elbow, threw for 450 yards of his own. So
yeah, great game for Big Ben. But
close to 100 fantasy points between the two quarterbacks.
pretty ridiculous stuff. But if I was a fantasy owner of Ben Roethlisberger, I would be looking to trade him immediately because I am not liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll get someone to bite because he just balled out, but I also don't think he's going to be that great. I think you will have totally fleeced that person.
He looks old and immobile, and his arm strength is not where it used to be. And to me, he is one big hit away from Josh Dobbs the rest of the season.
Yeah, I've been saying, a couple years now, I think this is probably it for Ben Roethlisberger. But just based on these first two games, struggling against the Browns, good game against the Chiefs, but moving forward, I think this actually might be it for Ben Roethlisberger.
I would have to think.
It just seems like all around he's less motivated to really go out there.
Okay, over under 1.5 starts for Josh Dobbs this year.
I'm gonna take the over on that.
I'd have to agree with you on that one. I think Big Ben's days are numbered for sure.
All right, so here's the question: over 2.5 starts for Dobbs and Mason Rudolph combined.
Interesting.
Because I might take the over on that too.
Well, we might have to put some money on that because I think I'm still probably taking the under just because I don't know. I think it would take an incredibly crippling injury. It would take a torn ACL or a broken neck to keep Big Ben out of the game.
Yeah.
That dude is
he's tough.
You can say there's a lot of adjectives to describe Big Ben.
Yeah, he's fragile, but if he breaks, he's not going anywhere.
So. Exactly. So who knows? I definitely think we see Dobbs at some point this year. Whether it's because of necessity or just they are done with Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I think we'll see.
But who knows? We could be totally wrong about Roethlisberger, but
he could have 8 years and 4 Super Bowls left in him.
I don't think that's
the writing seems on the wall. That Roethlisberger's not done.
So another game that had some dominance to it on the Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets. Dolphins getting out to that 20-0 lead in the first half, and then just holding on, end up beating the Jets 20-12. You said this is a good win for the Dolphins. Why do you think so?
Definitely. I mean, holding the Jets scoreless in the first half is really impressive. If I'm gonna be honest, I really liked what I saw from the Jets in the first week, and you're putting up 48 points on the Lions. That's no small task. And then to come out against the Dolphins and throw an absolute dud in your home opener is embarrassing. But also kind of speaks to, I think, how good this Dolphins defense is.
Yeah.
I think that's the larger point here is that, yeah, this Darnold and the rest of the Jets offense didn't look great, but this Dolphins defense is stingy.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a really solid unit for the rest of the year.
They have 5 picks through 2 games. Average 16 points a game. That's not terrible if your offense can put up numbers, and that's what they've been doing. The offense has been okay, and the defense has been able to secure the leads, and that's all you need, really.
We've talked about the Dolphins secondary at length in our apartment, and a little bit on the podcast last week. But I think Xavier Howard's a future stud. Rashad Jones is awesome.
Yep, Rashad Jones 2 picks against the Titans. Howard a pick against the Jets in the end zone.
Yeah,
that's a drive that could have ended in a score.
Exactly, that was the end of half. I mean, that was a huge way to kind of carry that momentum into the half.
Yeah,
I think I really like what I'm seeing for this Dolphins team.
Yep, their tackling looks better. Their linebackers, not that great in coverage, but I think they're okay at finding the ball when it's on the ground or in the backfield. So
I think it's important not to overreact just quite yet, considering they played 6 quarters of Sam Darnold and Blaine Gabbert as the quarterbacks.
Exactly.
But there are certainly exciting signs here from the Dolphins.
I'm looking forward to the game this weekend. I'm sure we'll touch on that in a little bit too.
Raiders Dolphins this weekend in Miami.
Yep. So I guess we'll hit on that in a little bit and move on to a game featuring your team, the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep, traveled into Buffalo this week and I think did what most expected to do in Josh Allen's debut. That was an interesting game for Josh Allen. I think it was kind of the tale of two halves, if we're being honest. That first half was rough.
Yeah.
That first half was disappointing if I was a Bills fan. I think your expectations were low, and even then, I don't know if he met them.
No, I really don't think he did.
I was talking with a Bills fan over the weekend, and it's not. We were talking about Josh Allen and the interesting dilemma that you usually really don't see with NFL quarterbacks is that Josh Allen's a really good decision maker. Like, he's smart. He often makes the right decision, and he has a hell of an arm. So like that combo pack right there is usually enough to carry you to competency.
And then he just botches the throw.
But when you are just no sense of accuracy, I don't think when Josh Allen releases, I think he has like a 25-yard radius when he releases the ball where he's like, yeah, this is probably where the ball will go. In this like general square, this general plot of the field, that's where it'll go. But like he doesn't throw. I don't think he's going to throw a whole lot of picks in his career, if we're being honest, because he's not going to get the ball close enough to the defensive backs a lot of the time.
And then the reads obviously are good enough that no one's gonna. I mean, it'll happen eventually. But,
yeah. But like he's just there's so many of the balls are flying 5 feet over the receiver's heads, hitting the ground 10 feet short of the receiver. Like it is alarming to watch someone so bad play quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I think what you said is for every 3 or 4 bad Josh Allen throws, we get an okay Josh Allen throw.
Exactly.
Not a great ratio.
Not the ratio you're looking for right now. But man, I would not be super excited if I was a Bills
For me,
fan.
this game was less about how good the Chargers are, but how bad the Bills are.
Yeah. Oh man, this Bills team is bad.
Yeah.
If they're really sticking with Allen for the rest of the year, this is a legit 0-16 possibility.
Yeah.
They are so god awful.
And their schedule is not exactly easy.
At Minnesota this week, at Green Bay next week. So, kind of can pencil in 2 losses there.
Yeah.
But wow, this Bills team is going to be rough. They are not fun to watch. This offense is just pathetic in every definition of the word. Like they have so little talent and such little excitement everywhere on that team. Like I don't know. I don't know how you can suffer. You're going to suffer through this year if you're a Bills fan.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be a struggle.
I just drink a lot of Labatt's and smash a bunch of tables, and maybe you'll forget about what happened.
I think that's been the plan since the Super Bowl, since Wide Right. I think it's just been jumping on tables.
Yeah. I went to Buffalo a couple years ago. I wanted to smash a table. My dad wouldn't let me, but I'm going this year, so I'm going to try again.
This is the year, I think. This is the year you smash a table.
I'm older. I'm more mature. I'm a little bigger.
I'm a man now, Dad. You can't stop. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I'm not a freshman anymore. I'm smashing a table.
Good. You have goals.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Anyway, enough about table smashing, I guess, and more about a weird game, I would say, an exciting game for sure. But Vikings Packers. What do you make of this?
Vikings Packers was a joy to watch, because that to me felt like a classic Aaron Rodgers game. Like that drive at the end, you got the ball with what is it, a little less than 2 minutes left in that game, and he just drove the Packers down, and that was like this is Aaron Rodgers 101. We have seen this from his days at Cal. It feels like he just when he has the ball late in the game, there is no accounting for how great he's going to be. And then Mason Crosby just shanked it.
What is the least amount of time for an Aaron Rodgers comeback?
Field goal or touchdown?
Either one. We'll call it a game-winning drive.
Game-winning drive. If he gets the ball at the 20 with no timeouts, I feel confident with like a minute.
I was going to say about 40, 45 seconds.
Exactly.
I think Aaron Rodgers could at least get his team in the field goal range.
Yeah, okay. So we're talking field goal range, 40, 45, touchdown, minute.
Yep, and that's exactly what he did, and he missed the kick. Some other missed kicks in this game, though.
There was a theme throughout of missed kicks.
Yep. Still, the biggest thing to me was not the missed kicks. It was the Packers getting screwed by a rule that they are responsible for. And that's just ironic and kind of funny, if you ask me.
Tell us what you mean.
What we're talking about is the new roughing the passer rules. Essentially, because Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone last year, they set out to protect quarterbacks. And in that rule, it states that you cannot, as a pass rusher, bring your weight down on a quarterback. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's just a routine tackle. It's what you do. It's the safest way to do it. Obviously, things happen and, people get hurt. The league needs to acknowledge that these quarterbacks are football players too, and that they're just as at risk as everyone else on the field. I like the idea of protecting quarterbacks, can't like lunge at their knees or anything like that. But if you're going to start penalizing guys for making routine tackles that to anyone else on the field are perfectly fine, that's an issue for me. And I think the Packers fans were like, "Oh, it's a good rule. We got to protect Rodgers." He's obviously a valuable asset to the league, but even then, this is ridiculous. And then the Packers ended up getting screwed by this rule.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins throws a pick late in the game. Mackenzie Alexander.
A horrible throw. A bad interception.
Yeah,
he just chucked it up, and it looked like a go route for Mackenzie Alexander.
Yep. Seals the win, but not so fast, I believe it was Clay Matthews drops Cousins in the backfield, lands on top of him, 15-yard penalty. Fresh set of downs.
Automatic first down.
In the ref's defense, though, that was a perfectly called play.
Yes.
What Clay Matthews did, in our opinion, is a clean tackle, but if we're judging simply
based off the rule book, that was the right call to make.
Exactly.
That was good on the refs for making it.
And that he got flagged for a very similar penalty in week 1. At this point, yes, the rule is shitty.
It's dumb, but you have to start figuring it out.
But that's the world we live in. That's the reality of the NFL now, is that we're going to overreact to all these horrible rules.
Yeah.
And these players need to adjust at some point.
To me, it's just, ironic that it was the Packers.
Exactly.
That's funny to me.
Kind of rich. Kind of feels good, if we're being honest.
So it's like, hey, this is your fault, and here it is, biting you in the ass.
But overall, incredible game. I think super exciting game. It was a Packers to lose, and it quickly became the Vikings to lose, and then it became nobody's to lose, and it was just a beautiful tie.
Yeah. I think people give ties a lot of crap that they don't deserve. I think ties are fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want my team to win games, and I'd probably be frustrated if they tied, but when it's not me suffering from the tie based on my team's performance, I think they're fun.
Yeah, I think I'm pro ties. I don't really understand the.
Would you rather tie or lose?
Exactly. I'm definitely taking the tie. I don't know. The ties are fine to me. Ties are okay. If you can't score in 10 minutes, you get a 10-minute overtime period, and you can't get a field goal on that, you probably don't deserve to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the punishment fits the crime.
Moving on to another game that featured some missed kicks. Unfortunately, from fellow Sun Devil Zane Gonzalez, playing for the Browns against the Saints.
No longer playing for the Browns.
Yeah.
No longer has a job.
He missed 3 kicks for, or was it 4 kicks?
I think it was 2 kicks and 2 extra points.
He left 8 points on the board.
Yeah.
In a 3-point game. So,
Oof.
yeah. Sorry, Zane. This one's on you, though. I don't know. There's a report that came out that said he was playing hurt. I mean, that might be the case. I don't know. It's just a weird game all around. Even though the Browns kind of blew it for themselves, the Saints did not look good.
God no. This is honestly more encouraging for the Browns than
It is for the Saints. I am
Exactly.
very concerned about the Saints. You lose to Tampa, a team we thought was going to be terrible. That loss looks a little better now that they beat the Eagles as well. But struggling against the Browns, definitely not the look you want.
No.
Not right now, not moving forward.
I mean, they were down 12-3 at one point. I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
That you how are you down multiple scores to the Browns at home?
If this happens against Tampa and Cleveland, what's going to happen when they play Carolina and Atlanta? It's not looking great.
I'm not really sure if it's Mark Ingram was the key or what, but this offense just looks vastly different.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
But Kamara getting 46 yards on 13 runs is
as of right now, my confidence in the Saints is fleeting very fast.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to crazy overreact because I think they'll still be able to win that division with 11, 12 wins. But
will
I'm
they get 11 or 12
that's
wins?
the thing. I don't know if they're getting there anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to crazy overreact. They still are just 1-1, but man, this is discouraging. And the main worry I have is that the same problems we saw in week 1 were not the same problems that we saw in week 2. They're two vastly different problems. And so to me, I don't know if that's indicative of this team is just major flaws all over the place, or they just play to their opponent and they play to their opponent's strengths and they play to their opponent's weaknesses. And whichever one it is, neither are super encouraging.
Yeah. So Saints definitely a team to keep an eye on right now. I know we've been kind of hype on the team in the next game. Both of us had them in our playoff picks. Things were looking good for this team. That's the San Francisco 49ers with their new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. You said on Sunday, you're kind of disappointed in Jimmy G so far. Why is that?
I mean, it just hasn't been the world. He hasn't set the world on fire like we kind of anticipated, if we're being honest. Thanks, Josh. Josh just put my computer on mute, and I really appreciate that. There's no way I could have done that myself.
I got you.
But Jimmy G, he's been fine. He's been solid. I think I don't know, maybe we probably just overreacted a little bit to what we saw last year from him.
Yeah.
So maybe the expectations were just a little bit too high. But he has looked about league average to me this year.
Yeah, I think he's looking, like you would rank between 11 and 19 on that, on the quarterback power ranking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the more concerning thing is they only beat the Lions by 3 at home.
Yeah.
So I guess on the other side of the ball, that's going to be something they want to figure out.
I think we knew that going in, though. That secondary is rough. They have Sherman, but besides that, there's nothing that exciting on that end. And then
even Sherman coming off an Achilles injury,
Exactly.
it's just tough to come back from,
Exactly.
unless you're Cameron Wake.
But nothing super exciting on that side of the ball for the Niners, and that's going to be a problem for them. But I don't know. I still have faith in Kyle Shanahan. Like that's basically where my optimism for the Niners lies in Kyle Shanahan.
Is it Kyle Shanahan?
And so I get to see anything that really discourages me from that. They still put up 30 points. 30 points is still.
I think Garoppolo is legit. I think that offense has some good pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Marquise Goodwin's out still. Like that's big. He was his favorite target throughout camp and all of last year. So that can't be overstated. Kittle is grown into his role. I think they have enough pieces to be okay.
Yeah, I have not lost faith in the Niners. It's just that they haven't been as electric as I thought they would be in the first 3 weeks of the season. But shit happens.
Exactly.
A team that can't do anything on the field, super boring and super hard to watch. The Arizona Cardinals.
Oh man, that is just a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Why haven't we seen Josh Rosen yet?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I would have to think it's coming. I mean, when you throw for 90 yards in a game, that's what Sam Bradford put up last game. 90 yards. What are you doing? That is not your option at quarterback. Clearly.
No. Why? I don't know. Just I feel like week 1 was enough of a, I don't know what word to use, but they should have known after week 1 that this isn't going to work, and we get to week 2. And it didn't work again. And here we are. It's Thursday night. The game's about to kick off in 20 minutes as we're recording this. And Sam Bradford is still the starter for the Arizona Cardinals. So I don't know what to do
Not
or
really
what
sure.
to say.
Yeah, not really sure what Steve Wilkes is waiting
I
for.
just have so many questions, but it's really just one question, and it's why isn't Josh Rosen playing quarterback?
The main thing to me, my main worry if I'm making the decision to go with my rookie quarterback. So if I'm the Bills, if I'm the Browns, if I'm the Cardinals, all these teams that face this decision, my main concern would be that I can't go back. I think the worst thing you can do is throw in your rookie and then he struggles and you're like, oh shit,
There's nothing you can do about
we
it.
got to get our other guy back in. Like that's where you struggle, and
especially the first year top 10 draft pick.
Exactly, you can't mess with his confidence that way, and so I think these coaches are scared to cross that precipice of like once we've committed to this rookie quarterback, there's no going back, and I think that's what terrifies all of them, and so especially for a rookie coach like Steve Wilkes, I don't think he wants to make that commitment yet. I don't agree with it, but I think I understand it.
Yeah, I don't see how you could have or be this bad and not even consider it. I do think we see Rosen kind of soon, though.
I would have to think so. I definitely before the in the first half of the season, in their first 8 games, I think we definitely see.
Yeah,
they might just not think that he's ready. Like I think you're right about not wanting to go back. And if they're not 100% confident in him, then why even risk it? Because you know you're not making the playoffs this season anyway.
But if you know that, why not just let him get the reps?
Yeah, I think.
Just weird situation in Arizona. The team they lost to, the Rams. I don't know if we have really anything to say about them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're scary good.
They're awesome. They're going to be super duper good.
Yeah, just a tough game to watch, even if you're a neutral party. It's kind of cool to see the Rams be good, but at the same time, it's just like there's nothing exciting about that game.
Unless you had Rams players in fantasy, I don't think anyone really cared about this game.
A game that was exciting, though, between 2 other teams that we think are very good. Jaguars 31, Patriots 20. What do you think of that?
Some more inside baseball for you guys. I had money on this game. Sharp did not, and this was rough. This was real rough. I had money on the Patriots to win a 14 parlay. And my spirits were crushed basically from the jump. This Jaguars team looked really strong from basically opening whistle. Like they are awesome.
I was kind of like, oh, Jags at home, they might squeak this one out, but I was probably thinking New England anyway, just because they're the Patriots.
Yeah.
But that was not the case. Jacksonville got off to a hot start and had a hot finish. Late in the game, Blake Bortles hits D.D. Westbrook for a huge touchdown. That pretty much put it out of reach for Tom Brady. Just not enough time left on the clock for him to score twice. So I was super impressed that they were able to do that without Fournette, their top offensive weapon.
So just consistently, New England was like, yeah, we're going to put 8 people in the box and we're going to force Blake Bortles to beat us. And that's exactly what he did. He was able to make one-on-one throws in tight windows that I personally just never thought he could make.
Yeah, we saw a Blake Bortles that we never saw before.
No.
Last year, I think he acted as more of a game manager, handed the ball to Fournette, got the ball to guys like Robinson and Hearns. But
that opening drive, that fade to Moncrief in the end zone was a gorgeous throw.
Yeah.
That was orgasmic how beautiful that ball was placed.
Yeah, before we saw Blake Bortles, the game manager, this was Blake Bortles, NFL quarterback.
Oh my God, yeah. Before the game, Belichick said he has to be grouped in with the league's elite mobile quarterbacks. And to me, that's like, what are you saying,
like
Bill Belichick?
Saying
it's time for the retirement home, Bill, because that's ludicrous. But But he was spot on. He looked when he did not have the option through the air, he was more than comfortable using his legs to get the first down, and that's a huge advantage.
Had a bunch of rushing yards against the Giants, and a pretty good chunk this week against the Pats too.
The hottest take I've heard from this game that I actually don't think is that crazy is that the Jaguars are better without Fournette, and part of that is because they don't have this reliance on their run game, and that keeps their playing calling more creative, and thus
they don't feel the need to hand it off.
Exactly, and so there's I don't know. I don't know if I completely buy it, just because I think you can still incorporate those play calling techniques with Fournette, and so you get the best of both worlds.
I don't see how they're better without Fournette, but it's definitely it was encouraging to see them function very well. Without him.
It drastically changed their game plan, and in a way that I did not in such a positive way that I never anticipated.
Yeah, hopefully they continue with whatever they did that's new, and then figure out a way to get Fournette into that, like you were saying. I think if that's the case, and you're looking at a very lethal offense.
I mean, that's probably the best team in the AFC, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think if you beat the Patriots, then at least for a week, you're the best team in the AFC. But when you beat a team, beat the Patriots like that, then that you.
And I think not the most important, but a massive factor here is what this could mean later in the year in terms of seeding and in terms of home field.
Yep. Patriots are looking at potentially not getting the bye week.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's only week 2.
But if the Chiefs keep balling out and the Jaguars keep balling out,
you're looking at a 3
seed. If the season ended today, the Patriots would not have a bye.
If the season ended today, the Dolphins would win the division. So
you are so right.
That's kind of cool.
Boys, that is some spot-on analysis that the listeners of Two Kids in a Trenchcoat are looking for.
Yeah.
Exactly. We know.
A game, moving on now, it's just kind of tough to analyze, kind of easy to analyze at the same time, is Raiders-Broncos. Derek Carr, incredible game.
Yeah, Derek Carr was awesome. 288 yards, a touchdown. I think he was at less than 5 incompletions.
Yeah.
He was
like 90% completion percentage.
Yeah, he was pretty incredible. And
super
Gruden
great.
just wasted it.
Yeah. I feel like this is a recurring theme on the podcast is just John Gruden is not good and is just ruined everything.
I know you guys probably saw this quote, but I'm not sure all of our listeners did. And it's the fact that after the game, John Gruden openly pined for more of a pass rush. And he was like, man, where could we get some of those daggum pass rushers? That's what we need. Chicago. And some reporters said, oh, you should trade for that Khalil Mack dude. He's really good. I've heard all it takes is 2 first-round picks. And dude, that's crazy. To get Khalil Mack for just 2 first-round picks, you should do that, John Gruden.
Yeah.
Jacob, I wish you were in that press conference.
Me too. That's what I would have asked. That's what I would have said.
See, my thing is are they crazy enough to do that? just think about John Gruden for a second. Just think about their front office with Mark Davis, and just who they are as people, and the decisions they've made over the past year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. It's just let's just give these picks back to Chicago and pretend it never happened.
Why would Chicago do that, though?
Exactly. At this point, Khalil Mack is worth way more than those 2 first-rounders they gave up, and it's only been 2 weeks. So
every time, though, I watch a Raiders game and I see Mark Davis, I'm reminded that the worst decision the Raiders have made was not the trade of Khalil Mack, but it was actually Mark Davis and his haircut. That was the worst decision that he consistently makes.
Yeah, maybe if he just, shaves his head.
Literally anything.
Or just has a normal adult haircut.
Yeah.
The Raiders might be better.
I'm not saying that that's the reason the Raiders are losing, but I'm not saying that's the reason.
Yeah,
you can't rule it out as the reason why the Raiders suck.
If they get a coach and an owner with adult haircuts, then,
who knows how great they can be.
That could be limiting their potential. They're having childish ideas with these childish haircuts. They can't just seem to make them work on the football field. To the other side of this game, the Broncos. I think the Broncos actually should have won this game by much more. This was not a 1-point game, and I actually really like where this Broncos team is headed. Mostly because I think Case Keenum's awesome. Yeah. I don't think people really understand how good he was last year in Minnesota, and I just think you're going to keep criminally underrating him because he's awesome. Yep, I think he's just flying under the radar. It could end up we could end up seeing this team in the playoffs. I'm not going to make that a lock or anything, but a 9-17 that looks like what the Broncos are capable of right now, and that might be good enough to sneak in as a 6th seed.
Here's the thing for the Broncos for me. I really like their personnel. I really like what they're doing on both sides of the ball. But I hate their coaching staff. Yeah. I think Vance Joseph is a bottom 5 coach in this league.
Absolutely.
I don't think he really has any idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think you're right that coaching staff is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and that's really discouraging. I actually don't want to say that coaching staff because former San Diego Chargers head coach Mike McCoy is still their offensive coordinator, but Vance Joseph, I don't know.
Yeah, that's looked rough.
He's struggling. His clock management is not there. I assume McCoy is doing play calling. I haven't looked it up, but there are a few head coaches who actually call plays.
If I'm Vance Joseph right now, I'm just thinking about job security and probably regret leaving Miami, for being honest.
I would have to think so. He just clearly wasn't ready.
Especially with the Dolphins' defense, with how they've looked. Imagine, it's like, oh, I could have been responsible for that instead of Matt Burke. But here we are, he's coaching the Broncos, and he's just not that great at his job. I think the Broncos bailed him out, or will continue to bail him out this season. I thought he should have been fired after last year. Elway decided to keep him around. I don't know if that's the right decision, because I think even if the Broncos, keep winning games, it won't be because of Vance Joseph, but it'll appear that way, and he'll just keep holding this team down.
I agree wholeheartedly. Just to clarify, I made a factual error. It is not Mike McCoy. It's no longer Mike McCoy. It's Bill Musgrave as the Broncos offensive coordinator. So sorry, dedicated Two Kids in a Trenchcoat listeners.
Yeah, Jacob would receive a 55 on his assignment.
Facts. Definitely happened. Shout out to Jill Adair 201. Getting back to football though, let's hit our second to final game of the weekend. Our final game on Monday. The Sunday night, I don't want to call it a disaster, but it was
weird game.
It was not an exciting game.
I did not have any fun watching this game. I definitely paid more attention to what was going on in the room than the game
The room
itself.
where it happened?
The room where it happened. Yeah, I thought the Giants were going to win this one. I thought Dallas was pretty bad, and to be honest, they still look pretty bad, but the Giants just happen to look a little worse in week 2.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I think this Giants team might be horrendous. What do you think?
They hung in there against Jacksonville, is the thing. It came down to a pick 6. Shocker. But, yeah, I think you might be right. Saquon looked all right, but not as good as he did against Jacksonville. I don't know. Could just be an off week for him. But, yeah, definitely not a great showing by the Giants. This is a game, if we're comparing rosters, this is a game the Giants should have won.
Oh, definitely. Just their composition of their team is just atrocious.
Yeah.
When you stick the league's least mobile quarterback, Eli Manning, behind the league's worst offensive line. Okay, take that back. Not the league's worst. The bottom 10 though offensive line. That's just a recipe for. You could have Jerry Rice and Randy Moss as your wide receivers, and I don't think it would really matter. Because Eli Manning's having no time and there's nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very true fact. Is you take a guy that's immobile and he might not be bad, but the fact that he can't move around as well as he used to, that just hurts you all around.
Yeah, he's not going to have any time to throw. His pocket's going to be collapsing around him constantly.
Yeah,
and it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the season from hell, or not the season from hell because they were horrible last year, but another horrible season.
It looks like Peyton and Eli Manning are going to have 2 very different trajectories after age 35.
Yeah. I think even with the neck surgeries, I'd rather have Peyton right now.
Yeah.
Running this Giants team.
Yeah, for sure.
Eli has looked rough.
Yep.
Happy though. Good. I'm glad to see that. Screw you, Eli. Let's move on to Monday night.
So, speaking of rough, Seattle looked rough on Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah, this was not. I think the score was a little bit closer than the actual game.
Yeah.
Bears won this one 24-17.
It could have been like 24, probably 24-10, 24-3 even.
I mean, they had a garbage time touchdown then.
Yeah.
That kind of made this a little more competent. But, man, there are some serious issues in Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree. That's another team with probably a bottom 10 offensive line. Luckily for them, they have a quarterback that can move around a little better. But then he doesn't have weapons downfield.
Without Baldwin there, man, that skill position groups
rough.
are brutal. Rashad Penny has not looked good.
No,
that's super disappointing.
No run game, no O-line, no receivers. And I thought earlier Russell Wilson could take this team to 8 wins, but man.
Oh yeah, it's not looking super hot. Tyler Lockett though, a Tyler Lockett sighting on Monday. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Caught a touchdown. That's
kind of cool. I'll give him that. That's good for him.
Yeah, but man,
and good for the Bears too. Good win for them, I think.
Definitely.
I think they were super dominant in this game. Khalil Mack again.
Yeah.
Just incredible performance. Another strip sack.
This might be too big of a hot take, but he's real good. Probably the Raiders shouldn't have traded him.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
I disagree with that take. I think it's just way too out there. I have no idea why you would.
Yeah, I'm pretty crazy. I know. But yeah, this
Bears had to give up 2 first-round picks, Jacob.
That is a fact. Thank you, Josh. You are right.
They could have had 2 first-round picks, or they could have had Khalil Mack. Who would you rather have right now?
That is a question. 2 hypothetical firsts, or the best pass rusher in the league. Let me sit here and stroke my beard as we think about this one.
And I've heard people saying that pass rushing is really hard to find in today's NFL. I don't remember who said that, but I've heard somebody said that.
Someone said
Yeah.
that. I can't remember who. Getting back to the game, though, I really liked what I saw from the Bears offensively.
Yeah, the Bears definitely look good on offense, I think.
I think Trubisky showed me some stuff that maybe I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, he's starting to figure it out. I think it looked like it against the Packers. He struggled in the second half of that Week 1 game, but I think he, took what he struggled with in the second half of that game and figured it out and played better throughout the entire game this time.
Definitely.
He knows what he did wrong, and he made sure he didn't do it again.
Definitely.
I think that's a really good trait to have in a young guy like Trubisky. I think he's going to be all right.
The great thing is that Trubisky's learning, but more importantly, Matt Nagy is learning, and that's I think where this team will really see a huge difference.
Yeah, you look at the difference in second half play calling from Matt Nagy between the Packers game and the Seahawks game, and it's just
a world difference.
Yeah, and obviously that ended up helping him out.
That mattered. Yeah, exactly.
Wild that better play calling helps you win games.
Man, we just can't stop breaking news here on this podcast.
Yeah. So, a pretty good week of football, so I think it's time for us to hand out some awards. Who is your offensive player of the week?
Actually, let's start with you, Sharp. Who is your offensive player of the week?
My offensive player of the week is Blake Bortles. Like we talked about earlier, we're just so used to seeing Blake Bortles, the game manager, Blake Bortles, the interception thrower. But we saw Blake Bortles, the NFL quarterback, incredible game all around. For him to, not single-handedly, but to exhibit that dominance over New England in a way that no team has really shown over the past couple of years, that's impressive to me. I think he earned it for sure.
I like it. That's a great one. My offensive player of the week is Chargers running back Melvin Gordon. I think I don't want to take too much away from this Bills game just because I think, like we talked about, this Bills defense is god-awful. But Melvin Gordon looked awesome. He was dynamic whenever he had the ball in his hands, and the Chargers clearly placed a priority on getting him the ball in space. He only rushed for 28 yards, but he was a force in the passing attack, catching 2 touchdowns, catching 6 balls in total. He is such a dynamic force. He can do so many things so well, and I think this game is indicative of what's going to be a great season for Melvin Gordon.
I agree with that. So moving to the other side of the ball now. Last week, you might remember I had Chicago Bear Khalil Mack. Another great game from him this week, like we said. But he is not my defensive player of the week. It is instead another Chicago Bear, Prince Amukamara, who had a pretty big pick six at the end of the game. The Seahawks were driving potentially to tie, and Amukamara just rips the ball out of the air, returns it for a touchdown, and puts the game away for the Bears. I think that was a huge play. That's something you see. We don't talk about Prince Amukamara a lot. Two of us or anyone really, I don't think. So it was cool to see someone different.
You could say he played like a king.
He did.
Oh, wow. Yes, that he did.
Wow.
So my defensive player of the week is Jacksonville linebacker Miles Jack. I think this Jacksonville defense as a whole, if I give it to that whole unit, I would. I think this was a pretty masterful performance, shutting down the quarterback, the greatest quarterback of all time, and I think our approximations. So I really like what I saw from this entire Jacksonville defense. And Miles Jack individually put up 8 tackles, was all over the field, was crucial in their passing attack. He was the main coverage unit for whoever they threw out of the backfield, whether it's James White, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, no matter who it was. Miles Jack was controlling the middle of the field, and I think this is what we're going to see for the whole year from Miles Jack. I think he's going to be the catalyst behind this offense. Awesome Jacksonville defense, and I think it's just going to be super fun to watch him play.
I agree with that 100%. I think that's a great call, making your defensive player of the week. He was truly shut down. It was less flashy than Amukamara, but just as big an impact on the game. So last week we did special teams because we feel like special teams players deserve some recognition too. So this week I decided to go with Miami Dolphins punter Matt Hawk, Forks Up, by the way, ASU alum. He put 5 balls inside the 20, and the Jets' average starting field position was their own 8-yard line. So that's a pretty good week from a punter, if you ask me.
I agree. My special teams player of the week, the crop of special teams player wasn't as great as I think as it was last year.
Exactly.
Or last week.
No touchdowns. Really.
No touchdowns. Michael Dixon wasn't as fun to talk about. So I'm going to kind of a strange pick here. I think Mason Crosby's my special teams player of the week. He obviously missed that last field goal, which is brutal, which is tough to see. Always hate when a long time stud like Mason Crosby especially misses such a significant kick, but especially after an incredible performance. He was 5 for 5 going into that point. He had not single handed. He was a major factor in why the Packers were still in that game.
Yeah, a huge game for Mason Crosby. Just unfortunate that number 6 just didn't turn out as well as
that. That was a shame for sure. But I don't think that should cloud an overall fantastic performance.
Yes, yeah. On a season, making 5 out of every 6 kicks, that's pretty good. But
you'll take that.
When it's a game-winning kick, that 6-1, it's tough to watch.
Brutal.
I feel for the guy.
You hate to, but Mason Crosby, he's a pro's pro. He's been in this league for how long? 12 years now. He knows what he's doing. He is a silver fox.
Yeah.
He is all gray up there. He is just steering to the curve, and I respect that. Mason Crosby, special teams player of the week. Don't sweat it, Mason. I know you're listening to this podcast, so don't let that sweat. Don't sweat it out.
Yeah. Like I said, good week of football. Fun time. So let's take a quick look ahead at week 3 here. We have the Jets and the Browns. They just kicked off as we're recording this. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. 2 teams, I'd say, about of equal caliber.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Browns at home in this one. I think this is where the Browns won their first game since 2016.
Interesting. I'm actually going to disagree on that one. I think the Jets pulled this one out. I don't know. I like what I've seen from Darnold. I don't think this Browns defense is very good. I think their secondary is kind of weak. I take that back. I really like their secondary. I just think they're young. I think they're talented and by proxy. But they're talented, but they're just too young, and by proxy, they're kind of not that good.
Yeah. So if you listen to this on Friday or Saturday, what we just said about the Jets and Browns won't really matter. The game will be over.
One of us will be right, though, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. That's kind of cool. So with the rest of this week 3 slate, nothing really as exciting as last week. Still a couple good games, though, that we should touch on. I think the first one is that NFC South matchup between the Saints and the Falcons. I think this game is going to be indicative of what we see from the Saints the rest of this year.
I can get behind that. Yeah, I think this would be a huge win for the Saints if they were able to go into Atlanta and kind of upset this Atlanta team that might steal this division.
Yep.
If we're being honest, they have looked the most talented out of obviously the Bucs, but if we assume there's some regression from the Bucs, of those top 3 teams, the Falcons have looked the most talented.
Exactly. I don't like to say must-win, especially in week 3, but this feels like a must-win game for the Saints. Less in terms of standings and more in sense of morality.
Yeah.
If you're just, if morale is low, then your team's going to suck. And I think losing this week and falling to 1-2 after barely beating the Browns and losing to Tampa, that's gonna really hurt the mentality of that team. So I think this is a huge game for the Saints.
I agree. I'm excited to see how the Saints react. If I'm gonna be honest, everyone has been talking this week about how the Saints dynasty is crumbling. It's over before it even really started. What to say? It's like but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the Saints react well though. If I'm gonna be honest, and I have the Saints winning this game. How about you?
I don't know. I'm inclined to take the Falcons right now just because they're at home. They look stronger in their past 2 games against Philly. I mean, they lost, but still looked all right in that game. And then last week, being able to hold off the Panthers, I think just based off what we've seen from the Saints, the Falcons look a lot better, and they're at home. So I'm going to take the Falcons.
That's going to be a great game, though. I'm super excited to watch that.
Me too, for sure. Another game we really like. No line for this game out of Las Vegas yet. That's Titans and Jags. What do you think of that game?
That game's going to be fun. I mean, I think the reason there's no line is obviously because we're not unclear about Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota, his status for the game, his health, and that's a huge factor.
Yeah.
I think that not the deciding factors because I think Blaine Gabbert has actually looked a lot stronger in these 2 weeks than I anticipated.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to have to take Jacksonville just because they're at home, and even with Mariota playing for Tennessee, I think Jacksonville is just a lot better. I think it's a fun rivalry game, and that'll make it competitive. But Jacksonville, just better.
Yeah, exactly. Jacksonville just has way more talent on both sides of the ball. I think they might actually kind of roll in this game. I'm a little worried about Tennessee, especially without Mariota.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert, not the answer, obviously. So Another fun game coming up. Some interconference. Got the Niners traveling to Kansas City this week. It's Jimmy G and Mahomes.
Yeah, that's going to be great. That's going to be two future MVP candidates, we assume.
Yeah.
Two kind of faces of the league, if we're being honest, in terms of young quarterback talent. Doesn't really get much better than this.
No, I'm taking the Chiefs in this game.
Me too. Me too.
I think the Niners will probably be a little more competitive than the Steelers were.
Yeah.
But Mahomes at home, I like that. It's looking good for the Chiefs, and so is the rest of this year.
Mahomes in his first time at Arrowhead, that's going to be awesome. I think that crowd is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. No matter what people say, Seattle is not the loudest stadium in the league. It is Kansas City.
God no, yeah. Arrowhead is terrifying.
Yeah.
As a Chargers fan, I hate going to play there. Arrowhead fucking sucks. Like it's just intimidating as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Mahomes is going to have a good game, but I think we'll see some fight from the Niners.
Yeah, this is a real prove it to me game for Garoppolo.
Yeah.
If Garoppolo goes into Arrowhead and at least looks competent and at least keeps them in the game, maybe they don't even win, but maybe they lose by 3. Like that's a huge game for Garoppolo.
Yep. I agree with that.
And especially against a weak Chiefs defense, crazier things have happened. It'd be fun to see Garoppolo and Mahomes combined for similar stats like what Mahomes and Roethlisberger did. But I mean, maybe not even if Garoppolo puts up those crazy numbers, if he still does something fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm excited for that.
I think Sunday Night Football is going to be extremely close between the Patriots and the Lions. Just two really competitive teams.
Just to drag it out.
Going at it, 48-45 written all over it.
I see more of like a 3-6 bloodbath. Just a real get in the mud and get dirty sort of football game, if you know what I mean. Yeah, football!
Except for the fact that there's no mud because it's an indoor stadium. But
ignore that fact.
I mean, the storyline there is definitely Belichick and Patricia. It's not Patriots Lions. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. Steelers.
Patriots. Hold on. Patriots gonna roll. Patriots gonna like. I think if Patriots win by less than 28, I'll be shocked.
I agree with that. So last game of the week, wrapping it up on Monday night and wrapping up the podcast today is Steelers and Bucks. Tampa's looking surprising. They just beat the Eagles at home. What do you think they can do against the Steelers?
I'm really excited. I think the Bucks moved to 3-0. If I'm being honest.
They do too. I think we've seen enough struggle from the Steelers in these past 2 weeks, and enough glamour, I guess, from the Bucks.
Yeah.
That they'll just be able to, not necessarily roll, but just play better the entire game and come out with a win.
Exactly. The Bucks proved week 1, if you're going to get in a shootout, we can do that. FitzMagic can ball with the best of them. But then in week 2, we kind of showed more of a defensive struggle. It had to, holding the Eagles to 20 points is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely going to be a good game.
I'm excited. I like the Bucks though. I think this might be a real bad loss for the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it's also a must-win game for the Steelers because if they lose, they start the season 0-2-1.
True.
That is true. I think the AFC North, is bad enough that they'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a must win.
I think it's also a must win because their team doesn't look very strong right now. Like I don't mean like player wise. Like we talked about Big Ben earlier.
Like the Saints, like how they have to win if they want to,
I'd say the Steelers more so. And Antonio Brown is like, hey, I might want to leave Pittsburgh soon. Le'Veon Bell is probably not going to be back. He won't be back until week 10. He definitely won't be back next year. If Big Ben is gone next year, I mean, this Steelers team, I don't know, it just doesn't look like they have their footing yet this year. And if they can't win on Monday night, they might never get it.
Wow. Bold.
Yeah, that is bold.
Projecting 15-1 for the Steelers, I like it.
I like it.
Not exactly that, but a missed playoffs would probably be a failure for the Steelers team, and I think that's a huge possibility if they lose on Monday night.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good start. There's that stat. What's it like 50% of or 10% of 0-2 teams make the playoffs. So
what about 0-2-1 teams?
That's a great question. That's the answer that people need. And before we end the podcast, I think you missed on one, probably not the best game of the weekend, but I think a real good game. Chargers-Rams, the battle for LA.
Oh yeah, that is important, I guess, in terms of Chargers always seems like they exist.
The East Coast bias.
I would say the Rams are definitely LA's team right now. So
it'll
be an exciting game, and if the Chargers win, it'll be cool to walk around with those bragging rights for the rest Until they
Exactly.
meet again, and it'll be like, Chargers are better.
The thing about LA bragging rights is that I think not enough people know the Chargers are in LA.
Yeah.
That's the main problem with the bragging rights thing. But I think it's actually going to be a super good football game.
Yeah.
I think these are two really talented teams. I think the Rams pulled this one out. I think this Rams offense is just electric. I think the Rams just on both sides of the ball have more talent than the Chargers.
Exactly.
Way better coaching than the Chargers. But I think this is going to be a competitive game for
I
sure.
think it'll be competitive, not necessarily close. I think maybe like a 10-point win for the Rams is very possible, but so is a 2-point win. So.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked by either. Wouldn't be shocked. I'm excited though.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see the battle for LA.
We going into week 3, I think we're both a little less excited than we were, but I don't know. We've been shocked before, and
Exactly.
knowing football, this is going to be an equally incredible weekend.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's all we have to talk about. There's a whole lot of news that happened this week that we didn't touch on, so catch up on that before week 3 starts for sure.
On sideline intel.
Exactly.
Even anywhere, I feel like if you're not paying attention to these storylines, then you're missing out on so much that just happens away from the games.
I mean, there's only so much we can talk about.
Exactly.
I mean, we're an hour and 10 minutes deep. This could be a 4-hour podcast.
Exactly. So I encourage you to catch up. Find out what's going on headed into week 3. Hopefully, we did a good job of giving you some information on that too. And that's it for me. Anything else from you guys?
I think that's it. I can't wait. I love football. I'm so happy it's back. I don't know. I can't get over that it's back.
Yeah,
I'm so
it's
excited.
been back for 3 weeks, and it seems like tomorrow's
feels-
opening day.
It still feels new. Still feel jittery about Sunday, and that's an excitement. I hope never leaves my body.
Me either. All right. See you later, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.